Hello. Using the correct specification engine oil is more important today than it's ever been. We're here at Miller's Oils to talk with Technical Director Martin Mann to find out more about oil specification and what you need to know when you're servicing cars. Why have vehicle manufacturers moved towards application-specific oils?
Traditionally, vehicle manufacturers' oils have been formulated around an API type framework, which is the American specifications for engine oils, or ACEA type framework, which is the European one. This involves physical parameters of the oil performing in engines, such as the piston rings, the bearings, the seal material that's used in the engine, as well as physical parameters about the oil, the high temperature performance, etc. But more recently, engine manufacturers have started to include additional tests that are specific to themselves, such as an extra 3% fuel economy or a slightly longer drain interval that fits with fleet operators better. Unfortunately, the route to the end goal is different for each manufacturer. They use different chemistry or different additives, etc. And that results in a very complex balance of finished products for the vehicle manufacturers.
How different are the latest generation of lubricants from their predecessors, and what is it that makes them different?
The current range of engine oils are very chemically specific. In other words, the equipment fitted to the vehicle to achieve low emissions, such as catalytic converters or diesel particulate filters, chemically have limitations on what you can and what you can't put into the oil. This even includes the oil itself. You can't use conventional mineral oils. You have to use synthetics to ensure that you meet the guidelines. This means that the oils are more or less always synthetic or semi-synthetic, whereas 5 to 10 years ago, a mineral oil or a semi-synthetic 1040 or 1540 would have been more common in the marketplace. Nowadays, they're almost always synthetic.
What are the possible consequences of using the wrong specification oil?
Two things can go wrong. You can either get the viscosity of the oil completely wrong, in which case you would either use more fuel if you chose a thicker oil, or you potentially could damage the engine if you chose a thinner oil. If you chose the wrong specification of oil, you could damage things like diesel particulate filters or catalytic converters by using a lower grade or older specification type of oil that they block up. You may even see the engine warning light come on.
How likely is it that it will cause damage?
Long term, the wrong oil is very likely to cause damage. You may not notice it this week or next week, or even in a few months' time, but certainly long term, if you kept the car for 30, 40, 50, 60,000 miles, there's a good chance that you could see very expensive damage. A catalytic converter costs many hundreds of pounds to replace.
For independent workshops offering all make servicing, stocking multiple oil specifications could prove to be a problem. What advice could you offer?
Unfortunately, this is a fact of life. We've been doing some work with a large chain that services potentially all makes of cars, and the fewest grades that we've managed to get this down to is about 8. Because of all the different specifications and variations in viscosity that are needed, that's the minimum they can use. But the pack sizes are more flexible. You can actually use smaller size product packs in the workshop.
What are the most common oil specifications today for petrol and diesel engines?
Most commonly at the moment, 530 viscosity is the grade in fashion for fuel economy, and that's for petrol and diesel. In the future, we will go to lighter grade oils, 030, 020 maybe. On the specification side, ACEA is the most common in Europe, with the ACEA A grades for gasoline or petrol, the B grades for passenger diesel, and the C grades for vehicles fitted with after treatment equipment for even lower emissions. As we said earlier, vehicle manufacturers do have their own specifications, but some of them have a fallback position where they will allow a straightforward ACEA grade if their own specification is unavailable.